We're back for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Ultimate Jam, presented by Order and Fuel TV. I'm Manic, and of course I'm joined by none other than Renton Miller. We're into the semi-finals, down to the sticky end now, Renton. I'm looking forward to this one.
Mate, going to be rad. 2 new maps, cream of the crop, battling it out. Historical tournament that they're just moving towards the pinnacle of, and I think it's all looking great, man.
To be honest, it's a good way of putting it, isn't it? We are now coming to the pinnacle of what we have seen in this competition. It's a bit of a groundbreaking competition in that aspect, you know, bringing the two worlds together. Believe, as far as I know, and as far as you know as well, this is the first time we've seen any kind of tournament like this. It's good. We get to see a bit of a combination between players that are mentally crazy with their skills and, you know, as you say, the fingers of fury, if you will. But we also get to see some style and some finesse along the way. I think it's been fun to watch everyone's different take on it.
Oh, I mean, that's the beauty of this game. It's to me, it's different to all other games. You bring your own personality, your own approach, your own tricks, your own preference on how to take a line through a map. Like all those different things, there's so many different ways to skin a cat, and each one of these participants, man, they do it every single time. There's something new, and that's why it's exciting, and that's why I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going today.
Yeah, there's so much to get through as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of these runs because, you know, this is where things just go absolutely mental. Now, let's have a look at the maps that we're going to be going to. We've got 2 changes. Well, technically, we have 3 changes. School still remains, but it is now turning into a speed run instead. We'll talk about all the objectives that you need to take as you're on that run. However, Combo is now in the ever so famous and loved Marseille, and Jam is on Streets. I know we got a bit to talk about when we actually get into these, but you know the big one for me, Renton, is that combo run and that 5-minute overtime limit. We saw it used to perfection last week, and you can just absolutely tear up when you're doing it.
I mean, these guys are that good, they can go for the whole 5 minutes almost. And that's almost, it almost seems like cheating, but that's just like an integral part of the game. And man, I mean, fair play to all these guys if they're going for all of that time, I reckon. Like, that's the way to go.
You know what? I think you just have to take your hat off, don't you? It is quite intense. I remember back in the day we'd used to play and, you know, like you just keep restarting the run and restarting the run and restarting, like, the players that we have right now in the semi-finals have shown us some insane things over the past couple of weeks. And my expectation is it only gets crazier from here because, well, guess what? It's all on the line now, Renton. Only 4 progress for each format through to the grand final. So you're talking about marginal errors that could cost you your entire run.
Oh, man. I think that's what it's about, you know, like there's just such a small margin for error and just I mean it's just so competitive and you just can't tell who's going to take this one out. And I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
It certainly will be. Now let's have a look at what these players are all playing for, of course. The wonderful prizes that we have got in store for each of the format winners. We've got that Tony Hawk Birdhouse deck, we've got the independent trucks, and of course the Puma $500 store credit. You can use whatever you want, really. You can use it on whatever you want. You can put it on a hat, a jersey. I don't really know, to be honest. I'm not going to go talking about what my style is because it's absolutely atrocious, but everyone's got their own take on it. Now, of course, you can win more than one format. That's the really important note here, is we actually have some of the same competitors in different formats, Renton. I think that just makes for such an interesting end toward next week.
Oh man, you could have someone sweep the whole thing. You could have someone win all 3 if they're just dominating that hard. And so, I mean, anything can happen in this tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Anything can happen. That's the best way of putting it. We're going to go to a short break, and on the other side, we're jumping into the first competitive format. We'll see you in a second. We're back with the Ultimate Jam. Now we're going to be running into the speed run format to start with. Before we do, though, I want to preface that the formats that we do have, we're only going to be able to show 2 of each just due to time constraints. So we just want to make sure that we put our hand up very early and say that we're just going to be showing 2 of the runs, right? We're not going to be able to get through all of them today. However, we'll be able to kind of isolate and talk about them a little bit later in the show and start to look at who maybe was the better of the best. But, Renton, it is time to have a look at that format, the all-elusive speedrun. It's all about shaving time off, isn't it?
Mate, all about getting that elusive fastest time. And got a new map, got the school, and yeah, I mean, hectic. That's all I can say. The speedrun, man, it's going to be insane.
It really is. It's one of the formats that I think I despise the most because it's just
I can't
so
do it
hard.
personally.
No, I am absolutely horrific at it. But I will say this, it takes incredible concentration, and it's not very easy, that's for sure. There are multiple objectives, and we'll talk about them when we actually get into the run. But there is just so much to a speed run. It's all about the lines, how quick you can take them, and also about making sure that you don't make any mistakes. So without any further ado, let's just get into the first run, presented by Nace, I believe. Yes, perfect. So let's have a look at this one. All right, very important off the block. He's going to be kind of coming straight out and dropping off the back for that first bell there, Renton.
I'm digging how he's throwing in tricks there, you know, like it's like he doesn't have to. It's like, hey, I'm going to put it in there while I can, just show you the skill that I've got. And yeah, I'm digging his get up too, the bucket hat today with the smiley shirt.
All about smiles here at the Ultimate Jam, that's for sure. Now, there will be, I believe, 6 different objectives that he's going to need to kind of go through. And so far, I mean, this is actually a decent run. It's crazy when you look at Warehouse and look at how quick those runs were. We were finished within 25 seconds for the majority of them. We're already into the 50-second mark. And it looks like Naze is coming toward the end of his run. He's still got maybe 1 or 2 more to get. But this is really good timing. You can see the pace is nice and quick here.
Yeah, man, he's killing it. I mean, I think Street's a little bit harder to get a line around than say, a built skate park. I think that's part of the game, just the general theme, you know, like streets aren't necessarily made for skating. So,
no.
Well, some would argue anyway, but like, yeah, man, he killed it.
Yeah, that's insane. What a run to start with on school there. I mean, at the end of the day, we are really just limiting the timing that you have to run around. Now, that took, I think, like a minute 20, if I saw toward the end, a minute 21.
Yeah, minute 21.
I mean, that's like when you do put that into perspective of Warehouse, it is absolutely insane. You're talking about a run that's gone 4 times the amount that it took for us to see any of the conclusions of the last one. However, I think that was a really clean run. You can obviously see there's a very decent line where you run around the back of the school. You come all the way back onto the rooftop. Then, of course, you finish on that final objective inside the stadium itself. But, Renton, do you think that we're going to be able to see much quicker timing than that? I feel like that was really quick.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing I know from the experience in this tournament so far is never say never. You never know what's around the corner. Never underestimate the focus and skill of some of these skaters. I mean, like, I think I did it last week, and the next up, the next competitor just completely blew it away, getting twice the score of the last one. So I know never to say never, and but that was a fantastic run, and that could well be the fastest score we see today.
Maybe, but one person might be able to top that, and that could possibly be Crofty, mate. Let's jump into it and see whether he's got what it takes. Now, obviously, off the back, he's got a very different line. What are we wowing about? I feel like anytime we see some tricks in here, Renton, we've got to call it out, surely.
Oh, I just love the different go-to tricks that they have, you know, like skateboarding is a sort of activity where every different person has their own individual skills that they're good at, you know, like someone, you know, they might have a trick that a pro can't do, and I feel that's the same here, like all these guys have different go-to tricks they go straight to, and different styles. I mean, I'm digging the 90s vibe with the aqua t-shirt and the purple hat. I mean, that's pretty mad.
Certainly
and the
gives
purple
a...
grip.
Yeah.
Purple grip tape with the purple hat. I mean, that just looks amazing to me. I stoke out on that stuff.
And of course, we can't go further than to mention the fact that he's actually got the face cam on. My goodness, this run is absolutely insane. Completely different line to what we've seen. Now, of course, he's already got the majority of these objectives. He's got about 20 seconds left to try and top it out. And it looks like as long as he hits these last couple toward the tables, the wall rides, he might actually be able to just sneak past.
Oh, he did.
Wow.
Smashed him 10 seconds.
Wow, that's...
10 seconds ahead, man. Crofty, mate, laying it down, laying down the law.
What's crazy about that is 10 seconds is an insane amount of time in a speedrun competition. You know, like sometimes we see people miss out by a second, less than a second, but that is 10 seconds he's shaved off. You could see how happy he was at the end of his run. I don't think he made a single mistake. I'll be completely honest with you, Renton.
Mate, the skill and focus that man has, Crofty, mate, throwing it down. Yeah, man, I envy this the skill.
Yeah, so there we go. The two runs that we've seen is the minute 21 run from Nace and, of course, the minute 11 run from Crofty. So we'll have a look at the top four and see where they kind of placed. And it looks like Nace just scraping in there with a minute 21. Now, I believe what we were talking about before the show was the fact that someone actually missed out by 0.6 of a second. That is absolutely insane. However, Renton, these are our grand finalists.
Man, Little Ugly Clan in first. We've got Crofty, mate, in second. Zamdog in third. And Nace in fourth. Man, it's just such a small margin between 1 and 2 as well. I think like just over 1 second. Man, going into the finals, this is going to be pretty rad to watch.
It certainly will be. That's a lot of competition and very close-knit. It's quite filled with pressure, and I'm sure next week will be too. But let's not jump too far ahead of ourselves because we've still got another format to run through right now. So we'll be back right after this with Combo. As referenced right before the break, we're jumping into Combo now. This one is, I think it caused a bit of controversy for us because at the earlier stages of the competition, we were seeing some decent runs, but we weren't seeing anything ridiculous, Renton. But in that last day, right before, you know, we kind of cut off the submissions, it was absolutely mental. I think it was Bishay that came out with some absurdly high score. It worries me a little bit for some of these competitors if he's going to be topping that again.
Oh, man, I'd be shaking in my boots. I mean, the dude was an absolute master. I think, I can't remember the exact score, but I think it was 2 or 3 times second place. And, I mean, I think we're going to find out whether that was a little bit of a fluke or whether he has the skills on every single run right now. But I dare say, man, the dude has some insane skills when it comes to the combo. So this one will be interesting, and I would not want to be anyone going up against Bishay right now. That's for sure.
No, it would be a terrifying prospect. But let's have a look at the combo run itself and talk about it for a hot second. You've got your 2 minutes regular time, right? where you can start your trick and really get a good base score. Then you've got 5 minutes overtime to continue to finesse it, if you will, and just add on to those multipliers, add to that base score. But the big change here, Renton, is we go to Marseille, a favourite of yours.
Mate, Marseille skate park. I mean, the seminal skate park when it comes to small bowl or the modern version of park skating. I mean, it's kind of the original thing that inspired so many skate parks around the world. Down the beach in Marseille, France. It's perfect skate park. It's got the vibe. It's got... it's a little bit sketchy, so it's not quite paradise. It's a little bit grungy, so it fits skating. And man, the fact that it's in the game and we're about to watch it, I think is fantastic. It's rad.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now we're ready to jump into the first run. It is going to be Zamdog first up. So let's have a look to see. Oh, look at the green. It's all about the style here,
Man,
surely.
Green hair and green pants. Wow. Coming straight out of the gate.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
So you see, he wants very specific line. Now, what's going to be important are these verts.
Yeah, man, that spine transfer, that 900 over the other side of the spine, that was pretty insane. He seems to have like 900s quite wide.
Yeah, now he'll need to, I mean, if he wants to continue to add to that main base score, he'll want to be really careful not to do the same tricks over and over. Obviously, it's good for comfortability, but you also lose points every single time that you redo a combo.
Wow.
Yeah,
He has his line around the park, it comes out and hits this fun box and then goes around the fence.
Yeah,
Strictly speaking, my personal preference would be to hit the deep end a little bit more, but I don't think it scores you any better, so...
Look, to be honest, I'm sure it would get you some nice vert, that's for sure, but then trying to reclaim your speed obviously is the big important thing here for Zamdog. He's hitting a lot of those grab tricks after coming off of this Wally, if you will, the wall ride ollie. And
yeah, the Wally. It's basically a wall ride where into an ollie, so a combination of a wall ride and an ollie, so hence the Wally.
And
but
look, to be honest, Renton, that he got back on. Okay,
he's getting that speed back.
Yeah, that was a bit too close for comfort. Or now it's getting a bit. Yeah, you can feel it, can't you, Renton? There's a little bit of a mistake made, and you can see how easy it is to mess this up.
He's back now.
Yeah, he's got it back, and we are coming to the conclusion of regular time now, so it will be 5 minutes overtime. Whether he'll use it or not, I believe the max we saw was about 2 minutes overtime, and that was by Bichet last run.
Whoa, how's that transfer?
Yeah, he is absolutely soaking this in.
Change his line a little bit.
Yeah, I think even he knows right now it's coming to the wiry end, and he pulls it out at 41,421,000.
41 million.
That's a run and a half, Renton. Let's be completely honest. That's a really good benchmark for us to start with.
So how long did he go over time on that one?
I think it was about 30 seconds overtime. So he still had, if he was able to keep that run 4.5 minutes. But this is the big thing, right? Is if you make a mistake in that overtime and you fall over, that could potentially be your format winning run ended. So you'll see some players will decide to bail out a little bit earlier so that they don't actually miss the opportunity of a 41 million run. Like that's a huge point run. I think, maybe it was around the 50 mil last time. So it really does start to kind of tighten up and constrict what you can do. Now, one person we're going to see is someone that absolutely killed the last time we saw them. It's Bichet. So let's see whether he's got the same ability here, Renton, or whether it might fall flat. Doesn't look like we've got too much of a change from the attire. Actually, maybe we got a little bit of a change from the, I think it was the Red Bull jersey we had last time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm digging the way he's got the red cap and the red grip tape. That's a nice touch. I like how he's working that spine. That's a classic Marseille sort of spot.
So, I mean, Renton, this is a really good base score to start with.
Wow.
Jeez, he's got this.
Man, he's laying it down. I mean, I think his last score of the last combo was like 220 million. So
yeah.
Wow, 900 backs up board slide.
Yeah, the base score just continues to get higher and higher, and you can see one thing that Bishay utilizes really well is the kit flips in between every single trick, no matter whether it's manual into manual, manual into grind, grind into manual, maybe vert into grind. He just continues to throw in the kick trips, the kick flips we got there in the end.
Alley-oop 900 to alley-oop lip slide. I mean, these tricks are insane, man.
What do you reckon, Renton? What's the chances of you doing this?
I've probably got 2 chances, man. Buckley's and none, I reckon. Like, in either real life or even in the game, I don't think I could really do it. I couldn't. How's that? Was it backside varial 540 to 50-50? Man, it's like an onslaught of just trick.
He's slaughtering this right now. Look at that base score and look at the multiplier. Again, for those of you who haven't been watching throughout the entirety of our episodes, the left side is that base score and the right side is your multiplier. Each time you do a trick, you grind, you manual, it just adds to the multiplier on the right. And again, we're getting to the point where every single time he does a trick, it's 300,000 points added to his end score. So I mean, we're in overtime, and God only knows how long Bishay will actually go for. We know last time he absolutely nailed this.
He might be on a score similar to the last time. Wow, one-footed frontside 540 to 50-50. I mean, these are dream tricks.
Now, one thing that's very clear. So this is the thing, like, you almost go numb sometimes because of the tricks that they're pulling off in this. But Renton, you know all too well how hard these actually are in real life.
Yeah, I think if you're doing like a single component of these I mean, that trick, the tail grab 540, that's a hard enough trick as it is. I mean, there's only a few people in the world that could do it, but to throw it to 50-50 and then land in a manual as part of a 300,000 trick combo is, I mean, it's great. I mean, that's why you play a video game, for stuff that you can't do in real life, man. There's so much of it you can do in this game. It's just mind-boggling.
Now, what's really important is the fact that he has lost his line. He's had to go around the outside. He's absolutely smashing the kick flips out. You can see in the white text,
it's kick flips.
In the deep end. Yeah, this is what you wanted to see all along, isn't it, Renton?
Yeah, I just with on a real skateboard, that's where the business goes down. But
yeah.
But he did. Yeah. He made it in there.
Yeah, look, this is absolutely a really ridiculous run, all things considered. 370,000 base score. He's up to nearly 300. Oh my goodness. Okay, he's really nailed down what he wants to do throughout these. Every time that you wall ride or wally into a manual, it resets your balance, so you actually don't need to worry about it. My word. He has once again just smashed it out of the park, tripling, nearly further than tripling. Insane. Renton, how on earth do you even get close to that now? 140 million, what?
140, I mean, that's insane. He's the man, the myth, the legend. Hats off to him, I say.
I mean, the fact that, Zamdog hit 41 mil and we were kind of losing it, the fact that he was able to keep his run, they both had kind of similar, let's say, lines, but it was, I think that Bishay's difference was in the fact that he wasn't really looking to wally as much until the very end when he lost his traditional line and started, as you were saying, going down into the big bowls and trying to change things up a little bit. Regardless, that is such a great run to have a look at. But speaking of a great run to have a look at, we'll have a look at the great runs that have been that we can't show, unfortunately. Let's look at who is making it through to the grand final. Now, this is a big difference here that we're seeing, Renton, from fourth all the way through to first.
Coach Judge, 27 million. Lil Ugly Kane, 31 million. Getting up there bit by bit. Zamdog with 41 million. And then, man, we step right up and we go to Bichette with 140 million. I mean, absolutely killing it. Man, what can I say? Bichet's in town. He's laying it down. And I think if you want a piece of getting that first place board, you're going to have to take out that man. And he is an absolute beast.
I'd love to say there's a target on his back, but he's flying so high, I don't even think anyone can reach him at this point. 100. That's twice he has done that to us, Renton. That is twice that we have been set up with a great expectation of, like a 40 million run, and then all of a sudden he comes out and absolutely smashes it. But that's all the time that we have for the combo. We're going to be moving over to the jam format, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Ultimate Jam. It's now time for, well, it's in the title, the Jam format, Renton. This is your favorite, I would dare say. It's a nice free expression. It's freely moving throughout the full 2 minutes that they have to offer.
Well, that's it. It's just basically your production of skateboarding, and that's what skateboarding is. And so that's why I feel like this game is just so similar to skateboarding in real life. It's just basically you jump on a board, you hit the terrain, and you record it for however long, and that's it. And that's why I love this this particular part of the tournament, because it just reflects what skateboarding is to me so much.
It's funny, speaking of terrain, we actually have a terrain change, if you will. We're going to be headed to the streets. Let's have a look at the jam format as its entirety. Now, the big thing about streets, Renton, is that there are trams, there are cars, there's a lot more to it, and there's a lot more open space.
Man, I love it. I mean, that's basically the heartland of modern skateboarding is in the streets. And man, I love it. I mean, we've got the school so far. We've had the warehouse, and now we're taking it to the heartland, taking it to the streets, and it's going to be interesting. Bringing in these trams and the cars, and just seeing how all these guys fit in with the environment. It's going to be great.
And as far as I'm concerned, there's no one line that that I can remember looking at streets and being like, oh yeah, this is where they're going to be going for. I had a bit of a test drive on it just the other day, so I'll be really curious to see what different players are looking to do on streets, because obviously there are different kind of expressions that we want to see. There are the vert and the flip trick skaters. There we go, we got there in the end. So let's have a look at Flurpy Actual's run, the very first run of our jam format. Now, right off the top, okay, as we come out of here, I'm very curious to see the line that he is going to be favouring. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I was going to say, surely that first one was not the base starter, but this one is looking pretty good, Renton. We got about, nearly a 60k base run before he's off the mark.
Yeah, man, he's ripping. He's actually brought a lot of vert tricks to the street. Bouncing off that bus. They're getting some more traditional sort of street stuff, some flips and hitting the ledge.
Yeah.
Back into some quarter pipe action with some 900 type. Oh, man, we've got some old school sort of hippie skating handstands, kickflip varial 540. Man, he's a barrage of tricks from all different eras and styles, and man, it's great.
Now, one thing that's going to be hard for Flurpy, I was going to say, if he holds that line, is the kind of speed that you need to continue manually and grinding. You want to make sure that you do keep up a very, very tight speed. And you can see now, as he starts to move away, this is what we were talking about. There's a lot more freedom of expression in these runs, Renton, because you don't really have a choice. There's no one particular, quarter pipe that's going to change the actual way that you play this. So I'm really curious to see what these other runs look like, as well as how Flurpy continues this.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit more creativity in the streets as there is with skateboarding. It's not quite made as perfectly as it is in a warehouse, and I think they replicate that quite well in the game. You can almost feel the textures of the stairs when you got your trucks on there grinding there. Like it's a bit different to a skate park. Wow. Man, but I think the lines are a little bit harder, and it's a little bit more about creativity and just how you use your environment.
Yeah, that was the warp speed that we saw before, a bit of a impossible trick in real life. But 5 seconds left. He needs to finish this run nice and quickly. There are no overtimes. He realizes it. Very close, sloppy landing at the end there. I thought that was going to be the cake, but it is 32 million that we walk away with for Flurpy Actual. I would say, considering that street and considering how hard it would be to actually continue and maintain a line there, he's done really well.
Man, that was a shredding run, man. Like, as far as a skateboarder, watching that, a lot of different moves, hit, a lot of different obstacles, quarter pipes, blocks, stairs. Man, it had it all. It was fantastic.
It certainly did. Now that, I believe, puts him in a pretty decent position. I think that, 32 million, that kind of sets him up for potentially next week. We'll have a look at the leaderboard at the very end of this segment to see whether he's made it in, but certainly he's given a good stake to the claim. And of course, grand finals is what we're all after here. The top 4 do go through. Now we have Coach Judge up next, so let's dive into his piece, his masterpiece potentially, see what he's got to offer. It is once more about that base score that you start with. It's really important that you get off of the run here really early.
Wow. Taking it to the streets, that's like a frontside rodeo river, man. I love that move. Never really thought I'd ever see it in the street. I love that bringing the unreal to reality, this game.
Once again, just making it past the tram without getting taken out. Now, there is a bit of an idea as to what we can expect. It looks like quite similar, in all honesty here, Renton. They've got that left-hand side of the streets that they're looking to utilize with that quarter pipe.
Yeah, man, like it's a similar line. Like it just seems there's a little bit less flow to the streets, which is, it's just true to reality, So that's definitely a good part, just seeing how it reflects to real skateboarding and skate parks and street and different terrains. Loving the hitting the planter box there into the quarter pipe.
Yeah.
Man, absolutely laying it down. Coach Judge.
This is what we wanted to, we really wanted to see what we could expect from these kind of runs, and it looks like really that is a very firm line to use. The quarter pipe is really important that you use that throughout your runs when you have the speed, because once again, any kind of grab tricks, any vert tricks that you can do, 540s, 720s, whatever you can get in there really does add to that base score on the left. Of course, his multipliers are really starting to push the limit here. You can see every time he jumps out of a grind or into a manual, he's throwing in a pop shover, a kickflip, anything he can.
Man, he's got the rhythm of the line, hitting all the same stuff. Just he's got some strong focus. Then back around the police car.
Yep.
Yeah, there he goes. So is that 35 million? Wow.
35. So he's just narrowly taken it away from Flurpy with 3 million points. But nonetheless, that is absolutely insane from Coach Judge to just narrowly make it out in front. And then you have to wonder for Flurpy, was it the fact that he did try to, move on to a different segment of the streets? We just don't know. That's the thing, Renton. When you show your different format, it's all about how you run it.
Yeah, and I mean that's the adaptability of going between these different maps, and I must say as well, like the fat lady hasn't sung. We're going into the finals, and I'm sure these guys are going to be saving their best for when it counts. And I mean, they're all looking good, and it's just really going to be interesting to see what we can expect when we hit the main event, the final coming up.
Well, that's the thing. We've got 4 going through to that final, Renton, and it's really, it will be telling to see who makes it through, right? As you can see, once again, it's Bishay out on top, Coach Judge, Flurpy, and then, it's got to be our favorite, Little Ugly Kane. He's in all 3 formats, Renton. He has made it through to the grand final in all 3 formats. What?
Little Ugly Kane, man, the all-terrain vehicle of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Ultimate Jam. I mean, Flurpy actual 32 million, just getting pipped by Coach Judge and in first place, man. I mean, we should have expected it. We've got basically the Tony Hawk of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Ultimate Jam. Bishay seems to dominate absolutely everything, and this is no different at all. So, I mean, that's our top 4, and it's only setting us up for an absolutely mad final event when that one comes around.
Yeah, it certainly will. That's the big thing about the Jam format, Renton, is that's a lot closer, right? It's a much, much tighter format, and it's certainly going to make for an interesting grand final. But for now, we're going to go to a short break, and on the other side, the Ultimate Jam continues. Now that we've seen all of the formats, Renton, it's time for us to kind of put a bow on the entire show here for the semi-finals. It's been a pretty convincing day, I would say, for some of these runs. You know, we're looking back to some of the best that we've had to offer here with Bishay's run on the in the combo format, and even to an extent Coach Judge's run there in Jam, even though he hasn't topped out the format. There's been some pretty crazy moments from these semi-finals so far, and we're not even into the grand finals yet.
Oh, mate, it's fantastic. Brought in a few different maps, got some more coming. It's going to be really interesting to see how these guys take it to the next level and how they perform in the pressure zone when we're at the main event and we're coming right down to the nitty gritty of it, and it's going to be rad.
Look, I'll be honest, I'm looking back at things like the speed run and, you know, the run that Crofty had. The fact that we have the face cam to see the reaction, I think, is excellent. So I would encourage any of the grand finalists to really showcase their emotion that they take, because honestly, Crofty, when he really pulled out that, I think it was minute 11 seconds on the speed run of School, he was absolutely stoked. And those are the kind of things, Renton, that I love to see, because, of course, it is emotion.
I want to see wincing faces and fingers of fury. That, man, it just brings a personality to the game. And, yeah, man, I encourage it. I want to see more of it.
And personality we've seen a lot of today, you know, a lot of different takes on some uniforms, if we should say, some stylistic choices in the costume department.
Individuality is a key point about skateboarding, you know, like it's about being different, and it's about bringing your own personal touch to everything you do, your own, you know, your style, your clothes, the tricks you choose to do, the obstacles you choose to skate, and that's just so clear in this game, and that's why I love it. And I feel like, you know, if someone's going to go out and they're going to take a few extra minutes to customize their skater, I mean, I got to give it to them. It's that finishing touch that I love.
To be honest, I would sit there for hours on end doing that. That is my favorite part about any game, is the customization, and that there is plenty of in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Now, let's have a look at these finalists. Let's start to break down who we're going to be seeing in the grand final. From today's speedrun format, we got to see Crofty, mate, and also Nace. The two we didn't get to see, however, was Zamdog and Little Ugly Kane. And as mentioned before, Renton, not only is Little Ugly Kane in all three format grand finals, but he has also taken out the first spot here in the semi-finals. Now, of course, it doesn't necessarily mean anything more. It just gets to, it kind of shows us where he's at in that speedrun format, which is still insane.
I think highly skilled individual, man.
Insanely so. I mean, I'm going to let you talk about the combo here, because B-Shay is just on another level.
Well, I mean, you know, to take it from the bottom, you know, Coach Judge with 27 million, respectable, you know, in third place, Little Ugly Kane, 31 million, stepping it up there. And then we've got Zamdob stepping up even more, you know, with 10 million more than third place with 41 million there. And then in first, you know, I mean, what can we say? I mean, that's basically 3 and a bit times more than everybody else, laying it down, the man to beat. We've got to give it up for Bishay.
That we do. There's no... I couldn't even imagine seeing that kind of score. Now, you know, kind of looking back at the combo format and the different scores that we saw compared to the jam format, the jam format is a little bit more competitive. You know, Bishay isn't absolutely running away with this now, but he is still out in head by 10 million. And when you do look at it, it's almost 25% more than second place, so he certainly is still well and truly up there. And I'm really curious to see how some of these players approach to that grand final. And, you know, just once again, give it up for Little Ugly Kane. This man, as you said, Renton, I'm going to reference you, he's all-terrain vehicle. There is nothing this man can't do.
Mate, he's all over it all, every group, and some great results in all of them, man. I've got to give it up for him.
That's it. We'll definitely be seeing him next week, which is all where the grand final takes place, Renton. It is the big one. It's the big dance. And of course, we need to remember there will be only one winner for each format. They're going to be taking away a list of 3 different prizes, including the Tony Hawk Birdhouse deck, the independent trucks, and lastly, that $500 store credit for Puma. But this is what we're going to be seeing. We've got the Burnside for Jam, Bullring for Combo, and the Speedrun. We're headed to the mall.
Oh man, how cool is that, man? We've got Burnside, which is one of the classic skate parks in skateboarding. Bullring, which is from one of the early Birdhouse videos. Some amazing skating from Tony Hawk and Bucky Lasek went down there. Some historical stuff, so it's great to see that back in the